Kumariguru College of Liberal Arts and Science is one of the greatest initiatives of Kumariguru Institution. It is vibrant in its education, standard, and morality. Every aspirant enters college with high hopes of achieving their dreams. This place understands each student and helps them to discover, explore, learn, and exhibit their talents and helps them to achieve their goals. They aim at giving a higher level of knowledge and a great platform to start their career life. Learning here includes academics, language, moral values, and places of individuals' interest. It is always open to students who come up with great interest to learn, and its main objective is to encourage liberal learning. It teaches qualities like leadership, professionalism, teamwork, adaptability, and a lot more. It shows the way for each student to where they want to be. As Nelson Mandela clearly quotes, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. Today, we are amidst a wonderful set of experts. And now I hand over the virtual dais to Ms. Magdalene to introduce our guest. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Richard. So, bonsoir à tous. So, aujourd'hui, nous avons Team Le Freihindi avec nous. So, Le Freihindi is an organization which is having a base at Paris. And you see, they encourage more than 20,000 students each year to enrich their learning buds. So, we have here Mr. Mehra, the CEO, who is a man of pep poetry. He simply juggles with his words in several languages with his inspiring poems. Then we have Madame Supriya, who is an expert of didactics, and she is the global head at Le Freihindi. And Madame Deborah, who has 15 years of experience being an international coordinator. Currently, she is being the content head at Le Freihindi, and also she supports the roles at Grenoble University with Le Freihindi. So welcome all the experts to the virtual dais.
Bonjour à tous. I am very happy to connect with you all back in India. So I have, to start with this session, I want to talk to you a little bit about Le Freihindi, the project Le Freihindi. And as you can see, Freihindi comes from FRE, which is the French, and also the Hindi. Okay, so Freihindi. It is actually a project which is supported by the Indian embassy here, and also the French embassy through Business France, who have actually helped us to create this project, wonderful project, which actually helps to connect the students community and the teachers community of both the countries. And also there are a lot of things that we are doing to connect people to people and students to students and institutions to institutions. So I'll just take you through my presentation. Can we have the slide, please? The first one. Yeah. So we are based in, our headquarters is in Paris. We have an office in Lyon, where I am based. So I am on the central east part of France, which is like, for example, if you go 500 kilometers up, you will reach Paris. And if you go 300, 400 kilometers down, you will reach Nice or Marseille, which is the south of France. And next slide, please. So we, as I told you, we have our head office in Paris, and basically this project connects not only France but all the European countries to India and the Indian subcontinent, including the Middle East, and we are very fast expanding to other Asian countries. Next slide, please. Okay, so low-friendly is we can broadly classify them into the three C's. Like we work in three core competencies. The first one is certification and training. So we are giving a lot of training to teachers and to students from France and also in India through our trained teachers who are actually trained by universities with whom we have collaboration here. And at the end of it, we actually also certifying their level through our online platform wherein we have. So I'll explain you about that. The second thing is that we help the institution to collaborate with the French institution, be it school or universities or private institutions. We help them to connect en ligne, which is online, as well as a physical exchange. This thing to which we managed to create a niche market. Then we have the contests. So these contests are basically to promote the languages, because it is the language which you not only learn the language, you actually opens the door for understanding of culture, understanding each other, and being more tolerant and acceptable and as a global citizen. Next slide, please. So the first thing is the certification and training, the first part. So what we are doing is we are actually training the teachers. We are also training the students. So suppose your university is there who wants to have some oral classes or pronunciation classes from France. We are offering that. We are also, we have developed a platform wherein both the universities can connect with each other and come on a common page and share with emails and Zoom classes and various you can share the projects, PPTs, videos, and all that. So basically the certification examination are online. Can we have the next slide, please, where it is explained? Yeah. So basically, next slide, please. Yeah. So basically, we accompany. Yeah. So the collaboration. So just a slide before this. Okay, so probably there is some problem in actually getting the second slide. So now we go to the collaborate. Well, what we do is we collaborate at the university end. So university to university collaboration, we help them to sign MOUs, and we have created a program called Juin, which helps students not only to learn the professional French here, but also we expose them to the industries, the French industries, be it L'Oréal Paris or Garnier or Decathlon or Michelin tires or Airbus. The students have possibility to come and speak to the experts of those institution and visit them to have a first-hand experience. So this is what we do with the universities. Next slide, please. The second one is for the schools and the lycées here, be it professional lycées, because here the skill development is very big. So you have professional schools and you have normal schools. We help you in being in touch with them. The program starts from 7 days to a month, and we after the program with the schools, we actually help you to welcome come here, we take you to Paris or the United Nations, on Geneva, Brussels, whatever the requirement of the school, we fulfill that. And then these students, we motivate them, the French students or the European students or the Spanish students, we motivate them to come to India. So it's a reverse exchange. So we are expert in actually welcoming students from India and rest of the world, and also sending the students back home on a reverse exchange. Next slide, please. The last thing that we have is concours, the contest that we have. Now, this is starts with the International French Spell Bee, and I'm very happy to tell you that this is the 8th year of the International French Spell Bee. Over 8,000 students participate in this every year, and the winner, they come to France on a free this thing. The teacher also comes to France. So if you are a French teacher and if your student wins, then you also come with her or him to France. So this is a very international a contest that we have. In France, we also have the English Spell Bee, because here the problem is English. They don't speak that good English. We were going to soon launch it in India. We have a German Spell Bee in India, where we have piloted that project with few schools. Similarly, Spanish Spell Bee we have in India, we have piloted. Then there is Hindi Spell Bee that we have with certain schools in Germany and in France. Then we have this coding Olympiad, and in Finland and Indonesia. Those we have actually launched in those countries, because these are the countries before the new education policy came just now. We had so if you know that in the coding has been made compulsory now from 6th to 8th standard. Now this was already there in these countries, like in 2012, Finland teaches coding to their students who are 1 year old. First class, in the first class, when they are 5-6 years old. So this is what we are going to launch on 1st of January in India under the new education policy. Then we also accompany schools and institutions and universities to make tailor-made contests. So for example, there is a university or a school who wants to say create some contest or something on gastronomy or any specialized requirement. We actually have the platform for that. So this is what we do. Next slide, please. I thank you all for listening to me. I will connect with you at the end of the session, but now we go to our wonderful resource and person who has actually worked on International French Spell Bee when she was in India with us, and now she is based out of Sweden. And so we introduce now Miss Supriya to you, who is an expert for today's session, and she will take over. Thank you. Merci.
Merci, Monsieur Haru, et bonjour tout le monde. J'espère que vous allez tous bien. Hello. I hope everyone is doing well, and thank you to Mr. Haru for introducing me. Je suis très contente de pouvoir d'être parmi vous, et je vais parler dans les deux langues, français et anglais. I will speak in both French and English, since I believe that there are a lot of beginners, so they don't understand French very well. Moi, je suis enseignante du français. I'm a teacher of French, and comme vous le savez déjà, dans ce webinaire, nous allons parler des erreurs du français, les erreurs qu'on fait quand on prononce. So in this webinar, we are trying to articulate French in the correct manner. So we are trying to learn French pronunciation, and I will be going through a presentation where I will be explaining you about French pronunciation and basic rules of French pronunciation, and then we will work on the sound R. Alors, can we have the presentation, please? Okay, thank you. Alors, c'est la phonétique française. Can we go on to the next slide, please? Ok, très bien. On commence avec les règles de base de prononciation en français. So I'm presenting to you basic rules of French. Il y en a beaucoup. There are so many rules, but we cannot talk about all the rules with this faute de temps because we have time constraints. Alors, je vais vous présenter quelques règles de base. So I'm talking of some basic rules that should be kept in mind while trying to learn French. Next slide, please. OK. Tout d'abord, ne pas prononcer la consonne finale d'un mot. So, when we have a word that ends with a consonant, we do not pronounce the consonant. For example, petit. On ne dit pas petite. Petit ends with a T, which is a consonant. Alors, on ne prononce pas le T. C'est petit. Fille. Chat. CH, en français, c'est le ch. So CH gives ch sound, hence we say chat. On ne prononce pas le T. Chocolat. Chou. Chou, which means cabbage, and it ends with X, which is une consonne, alors chou. Parisien. Vous. Grand. Ensuite, prononcer la voyelle finale d'un mot. So when we have a word ending with a vowel, we pronounce the vowel. For example, petite. Là, ça termine, le mot petite, ça termine avec une voyelle. So petite. Fille. Douce. Parisienne. Grande. Ensuite, now the S, quand on a le S au début d'un mot, it's S. So a word beginning with S, for example, soleil, ça veut dire sun. So when you have S in the beginning, it's S sound. Again, when you have S between a consonant and a vowel, it is S sound. For example, chanson. On ne dit pas chanson, c'est chanson. Observer. Voilà. Now, when the S is between two vowels, il faut faire attention. We have to be careful. If the S is between two vowels, it gives the sound. Par exemple, chaise. Poison. Si on dit poisson, c'est autre chose. Poisson, ça veut dire fish. Et poison, c'est poison. Cerise. Aise. Comme ça. Alors, quand on a deux S ensemble, we have two S together, c'est toujours ce. Par exemple, passe, chasser, classe. Alors, il faut faire attention au placement du S. Where is S? Is if it's followed by a vowel, two vowels, or we have two S together. Alors, next slide, please. Merci. Alors, parlons de la liaison. Let's talk of liaison. Est-ce que vous savez déjà ce que c'est la liaison? Do you already know what a liaison is? So, liaison, ça veut dire un mot, quand on a un mot qui se termine par une consonne et il est suivi d'un autre mot qui commence avec une voyelle. So, we have two words, and the first word is ending with a consonant. In that case, normally we don't pronounce the consonant. But if the first word is followed by another word starting with a vowel, then in that case, we do pronounce the consonant, which this phenomenon is called the liaison. Now, this liaison is sometimes obligatoire, that means it's mandatory, and in also some cases, it's interdit. Voyons. Let's see where it is mandatory. For example, on dit mes amis, on ne dit pas mes amis. Là, la liaison, c'est obligatoire. So liaison is mandatory here. On dit mes amis. Je suis allé. Il est ingénieur. Vous voyez? Je suis étudiant. Étudiant. Vous êtes indien. On ne dit pas vous êtes indien. Non. Vous êtes indien. Nous avons. C'est pas nous avons, mais nous avons. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay, now let's look at cases where la liaison est interdite. Alors, on ne fait pas la liaison. We don't have to do the liaison. When you have the word and in French, c'est le mot et. Alors, on dit je veux un chocolat et un café. Là, on ne fait pas la liaison. Here, the liaison is banned. On ne dit pas je veux un chocolat et un café. Non, un chocolat et un café. Des héros. Ce n'est pas des héros. Non. En haut. Voilà. Ensuite, le cédille. La cédille, c'est prononcé comme le so. So we have C and there is a small S en bas, which gives the C a S sound and not a K sound. Par exemple, dans les mots garçon, français. Ensuite, le H. So in French, the H is muet, which means the H is silent. That means we don't pronounce the H. And before a word starting with H, on fait la liaison. Par exemple, un hôtel, un hôtel. En hiver, en hiver. Nous habitons en Inde, nous habitons. So here, in all these cases, you see, the H is silent, c'est le H muet. Alors, on fait la liaison. Mais il y a des cas où le H n'est pas muet, ça veut dire que c'est aspiré. So you have cases where H is not silent, it's aspirated. What does that mean? That means that c'est aspiré, alors on ne fait pas de liaison. Liaison is not possible in this case. Et on ne fait ni les contractions. Contractions are also not possible. Voyons des exemples. Let's see some examples. Les héros. On ne dit pas les héros, non. Comme ça devient les héros. So heroes become zeros, non. Alors c'est et les héros. Le hasard. C'est pas l'hasard, le hasard. La Hollande et pas l'Hollande. Can we have the next slide, please? OK. Maintenant, nous passons à la prononciation du R. Pourquoi on l'a choisi? Parce que le R, c'est problématique pour nous, parce que c'est problématique pour beaucoup d'entre nous. Pourquoi? Parce que ça n'existe pas dans notre langue. So R is problematic for a lot of us. We find it difficult, hard to pronounce. Why? Because we don't have it in Indian languages and it's not even there in English. Donc, on n'a pas l'habitude de prononcer le R français. So we are not used to. Hence, we find it difficult. Mais ce n'est pas impossible. On peut très bien le maîtriser si on s'entraîne. So with a little bit of practice, we can master the French R. Can we have the next slide, please? OK, je voudrais vous dire que le français, est-ce que vous savez déjà que le français tel qu'il est parlé aujourd'hui, the R, the French R, as it's spoken today, it's not how it was spoken previously. That means in the 17th or 18th centuries, it was pronounced differently. C'était le R roulé. Ça veut dire it was rolled R, which is the apical R, pronounced with the tongue the tip of the tongue, like R. But in the 18th century, it was replaced by the R uvulaire, ce qui est le R moderne. So which is the modern R is the uvular R because it's pronounced from the uvula, au fond de la gorge, and it was remplacé par les élites de Paris parce qu'ils voulaient se distinguer des autres. So in the 17th, 18th century, the elite class from Paris, they wanted to stand out from the masses. Hence, they started pronouncing the rolled R in the uvular form, that is the R form. And that's how it got adopted and it spread throughout the country, and it spread to other countries in Europe. So we have this R, the uvular R, in other languages as well. So you can see, vous pouvez le voir dans l'image, comment ça se prononce, le R en français, qui est une consonne fricative et uvulaire. So we can see in the image where the R is actually pronounced. It's pronounced at the uvula, which is located here in the throat. Next slide, please. Alors, quand on prononce le R, sa prononciation, ça change selon son placement dans le mot. So, the R is pronounced differently according to its position in the word. For example, if it's placed in the beginning, or if it's at the end, if it's between a vowel or a consonant. So that has an effect on the pronunciation. Sometimes it's strong, c'est fort, sinon c'est plus doux, quelquefois. Alors, voyons, let's see some examples. Premièrement, le R au début d'un mot. So we have the R at the beginning of a word. Là, dans ce cas, le R, c'est en position initiale et c'est suivi d'une voyelle. Alors, dans ce cas, le R, ça se prononce plus fortement. C'est plus fort, c'est plus accentué. It's a strong R. We can hear it strongly. For example, rat, rond, riz, roux, rose. Next slide, please. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay, le R entre deux voyelles. So when we have R, the R between two vowels, on l'entend plus fort. Dans ce cas aussi, ça se prononce plus fort. Par exemple, garage, macaron, mer, orange, rare. Next slide, please. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay. Maintenant, le R en position finale. Alors, nous avons le R à la fin du mot. So, R is at the end of a word. Alors, dans ce cas, le R est plus doux. That means it's more soft because it's at the end and il n'y a pas de voyelle qui suit. There's no vowel following it. Hence, it's softer. For example, finir, pour, partir, sortir, choisir, car, R. Alors, vous voyez, dans tous ces exemples, le R, c'est très léger, c'est très doux, on ne peut même pas l'entendre des fois. So sometimes we don't even hear it because it's at the end and it's very soft that we can at times miss it. Can we have the next slide, please? OK, le R après les consonnes B ou T. Si on a le R après un T ou un D, dans ce cas, c'est plus difficile de prononcer le R car la langue touche le haut du palais. So when you're pronouncing the T or D, the tongue is up in the mouth. It touches le haut du palais. It touches the palate. And to pronounce le R, il faut baisser la langue. We have to bring the tongue down. Hence, it's more difficult to pronounce the DR sound together. Alors, le dr ou le tr, c'est plus difficile, mais voyons quelques exemples. Par exemple, drapeau, trait, trois, prendre, attendre, vendre, trop. Can we have the next slide, please? Ensuite, le R après les consonnes G ou K. So we have R after a G or a K. Dans ce cas aussi, c'est plus difficile de prononcer car la langue est vers l'arrière. So G and K, they are pronounced at the back of the tongue. Et il faut mettre la langue à l'avance rapidement pour prononcer le GR ou la KR ensemble. Prenons quelques exemples. Gris, gros, grand, grave, crayon, crier, cravate. You can practice this. I would recommend you to practice all these sounds at home or with the help of a video or with these examples. Chez vous. Can we have the next slide, please? Quand on ne prononce pas le R, alors il y a des cas où on ne prononce pas le R. So there are some cases when the R is not pronounced, and that is when we have the OR ensemble à la fin des verbes. So at the end, we have ER words that ER is not pronounced as R parce que ça forme un digramme. It leads to a digramme which is a combination of words. Sorry, a combination of sound. Alors, c'est une combinaison de sons. Le son, c'est E. So when we have ER together, that leads to a sound. Par exemple, aller. Ce n'est pas aller, c'est aller. Parler. On ne dit pas parler. Changer. Ce n'est pas changer, c'est changer. Étudier. Chanter. Vous voyez? Et alors aussi, si vous avez IOR ensemble, when we have IER at the end of a word, then also it is IE. For example, chocolatier, papier. I would recommend you to practice these words at home. Can we have the next slide, please? Alors, le R en ligature. Qu'est-ce que c'est la ligature? La ligature, c'est la fusion de deux graphèmes. Ça veut dire, en français, on a le O et le O. So in that case, that leads to a ligature, means it leads to a sound, which is E. For example, we see words like sœur, cœur, which means heart, mœurs, which means values and morals, œuvre, cœur. Alors, vous voyez, je vous recommande de vous entraîner avec ces mots pour pratiquer et pour maîtriser le R. Can we have the next slide, please? Merci. Et maintenant, je passe la parole à Madame Deborah.
Oui, bonjour. Bonjour tout le monde. Merci Supriya. Bonjour India. Bonjour France. So, je m'appelle Deborah Rocha. As it was said, I work with content and communication for more than 15 years. I have my origins in Brazil, but I speak English since I was 2 years old, and now French. So I'm very happy to be here with you. And I will speak about 7 mistakes to avoid in French. So can I have the first slide, please? Yeah, so 7 common mistakes to avoid in French. En français, 7 erreurs courantes pour vous améliorer le français. So next slide, please. Let's start with the first one. Donc, première erreur à ne pas commettre, c'est dire faire une question. Donc, on ne fait pas une question. We don't like fabric or make a question. En français, on pose une question. Okay? Donc, tu ne vas pas fabriquer une question, tu vas poser une question. Okay? As I said, so for example, if you are in a French course and you have a question, and then you will say, s'il vous plaît, je peux poser une question. Donc, je peux poser une question et pas faire une question. Okay? So can I make a question? I have a doubt, please. So, je peux poser une question. OK. Et d'ailleurs, si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas à poser vos questions sur notre chat. If you have any questions, just go ahead and chat with us. So, can I have the next slide, please? Bon. Deuxième erreur à éviter, c'est moi qui a gagné. Donc, c'est pas moi qui a gagné. Oui, c'est moi. Le sujet, c'est moi. Donc, on va conjuguer aussi à la première personne. Okay, so we will stick to the subject of the phrase, which is me. Yeah, I have won. Yeah, I have won. So, c'est moi qui ai gagné. C'est moi qui ai gagné et pas c'est moi qui a gagné. Donc, so there's a little, it's kind of tricky. There's a pronunciation issue. And maybe Supriya can help us even more after. But it's very subtle, but it's creates like disturbance if you are like speaking to a French or in France. So, c'est moi qui ai gagné. Okay? C'est moi qui ai gagné le concours. Par exemple, c'est nous qui avons gagné, etc. Donc, ça s'accorde avec le sujet, okay? Même s'il y a un pronom relatif, c'est le qui. autre exemple, another example that we can see this the same issue is c'est moi qui suis le meilleur. C'est moi qui suis le meilleur et non c'est moi qui ai le meilleur, par exemple. Non, c'est moi qui suis le meilleur. Donc, voilà. Le prochain, the next slide, please. Alors, je suis bien. Non, 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 je ne suis pas bien. Je vais bien. Okay, donc quand if anyone will ask you, oh, hi, how are you doing? Is everything okay? Comment ça va? Tu vas bien? Tu dis, je vais bien. C'est le verbe aller. Donc, je vais bien. Et pas je suis bien. Okay? On peut dire je suis bien, mais dans un autre contexte. Par exemple, ah, je suis bien là. Je suis bien dans mon canapé. Je suis bien avec toi. Donc là, c'est le verbe être. Donc c'est différent. C'est différent. Ok. Donc, mais quand on te pose, when we make the question, comment ça va? Bon, it's the beginning of any conversation. Comment ça va? Tu vas bien? Donc là, on se tutoie. Hein, on utilise le tu. We use tu et non vous, mais bon, dans tous les cas, on va dire je vais bien. Ok. Donc, yeah, the next slide, please. Yeah. So, fourth big mistake, just remembering we always do mistakes and we should do them. Yeah, we have to make mistakes, so then we will remember and learn. Yeah, it's like a child when it's like we're learning, like a little child. We see like they just go ahead and make their associations and talk. If they don't do that, they will never start any communication. Yeah, so it's just important to go ahead and talk, but obviously we're trying to speak well French. It's a kind of like it's respect, obviously, yeah, to the other culture. So quatrième erreur, se tromper. Enfin, on va éviter de se tromper d'une fois pour tous entre ici, là et là-bas. Donc, ici et là, aujourd'hui, c'est quasiment la même chose. Donc, today, it's like the same thing. Ici et là, it's same thing. It's when something is next to you. Okay? So, ici, like in this table, ici ou là. Ici dans cet appartement, ici ou là dans cet appartement. OK? Et là-bas, c'est quand c'est vraiment plus loin. OK? Donc, it's very easy. It's like ici or là. We can say ici or là. It's like the same situation. It's like a little bit of difference, but it's almost the same thing. And then there's là-bas, which is far away, okay? Donc, c'est ici, c'est là. C'est ici, c'est là. Ou j'ai mal ici. Oh, I have headache. J'ai mal ici. J'ai mal là. It's the same thing, okay? So, I put a phrase like of a very famous song here in France, which is called Là-bas. And if afterwards you can search for it and listen. It's from Jean-Jacques Goldman. And he says, one of its phrases is, ici, même nos rêves sont étroits. C'est pour ça que j'irai là-bas. Donc, we see that he says, like, here, even our dreams are like diminished or like straight. And that's why I'm going there. I'm going out there. Or I'm going to France. Yeah. So we can see the difference very clearly. Yeah. So if you want, you can just go ahead and listen to this beautiful, beautiful song where he says exactly that. I'm not very happy where in this context, I'm not happy where I am. And he's like, just to say that the ideal place is not here, it's there, over there. If it's in France or in India or in Brazil. Okay, so ici, là, it's the same thing. So it's when it's close to you, and là-bas is when it's far away. So, okay. If you have any questions, just don't hesitate and go ahead and put some comments for us. We will be glad to answer. So next, can I have the next slide, please? Donc, je visite mes amis. Non, c'est pas possible de dire je visite mes amis. I visit my friends. It's incorrect in this way. In French, we don't say je visite mes amis. We say je vais rendre visite à mes amis. Je vais voir mes amis. Okay, there's two ways. You can say je vais rendre visite à mes amis, which is a little bit longer. So, or you can just go ahead and say je vais voir mes amis. Why? Why can't we say je visite mes amis? Because visiter in French, there's a sense of going inside, to explore, to discover. Yeah. So we have, if you say that to a French person or French-speaking person, he will think, what? You're going inside your friend, you're going to go inside their body. So no, it's not that. In another hand, we can say, je vais visiter un musée, ou je vais visiter une ville. In this case, yes, we can visit a museum and we can visit a city. Yeah, but we cannot visit somebody. Okay, like in French, we cannot. In any case, so je vais voir un ami ce soir. Là, oui. In this case, yes. So we can just simply say, je vais voir un ami ce soir. Or, je vais rendre visite à un ami ce soir, which is quite long, but quite like pretty. It sounds very good. It's very nice to say that way, but you can say simply, je vais voir mes amis. Okay. So can I have the next slide, please? So yeah, so here we arrive to the sixth mistake, which is beaucoup du, ou beaucoup des, beaucoup de la. All of these forms are not correct, okay? So what we say is beaucoup de, right? It's beaucoup de. We don't say, for example, j'ai beaucoup de la chance. No, on peut pas. We cannot say j'ai beaucoup de la chance. I have lots of. How do you say that in English? Oh my God, I have beaucoup. I have a lot of luck. Yeah, I have a lot of luck. J'ai beaucoup de la chance. We don't say like that. What we say, why not? Because with all the quantities, so beaucoup de, un peu de, un tout petit peu de, énormément de, un tas de, ou même un kilo de. J'ai beaucoup de chance. Donc, yes, I have a lot of luck. I have a lot of luck. J'ai beaucoup de chance. Je veux un peu de thé. Un peu de thé. Pas Je veux beaucoup du thé au... Non. Je veux beaucoup de thé. Beaucoup de thé. And there also there's like a little issue with the pronunciation. Beaucoup de. Donc le de, we say it's a little bit more, the E is more closed. And then Supriya will help us also with that. But it's de et pas des. Yeah. So then we have this this little disturbance if we don't pronunciate it clearly. Yeah. So we just try to pronunciate it well. Beaucoup de. Beaucoup de. Donc beaucoup de, un peu de, which is like a lot of, a little bit of, un tout petit peu de, just a little bit more of salt, un tout petit peu de sel, énormément d'amour, a lot of love. Un tas de also is like lots of I don't know, work. J'ai un tas de choses à faire. A lot of things to do. Yeah? Un kilo de, like a kilo of cheese. Yeah, why not? Okay, so next slide, please. Next and last hint. Last mistake to avoid. So, sorry. Dans le matin et dans le soir. Donc, non, on ne dit pas dans le matin, dans le soir. Non, ça ne sonne pas bien. Hein? We don't say in the morning, in the evening. On dit le matin, le soir. Le matin, le soir. Par exemple, for example, dans le matin, je fais du sport. In the morning, I practice sport. Yeah. No, in French, we don't say dans le matin. We say simply le matin. Okay, we go directly. So just le matin, je fais du sport. Je lis le journal, je médite, je fais du yoga. Donc, and there is a sense of continuity. There's a sense of regularity. Like every morning, I practice yoga. Every morning, I read the newspaper. I meditate. Okay, whatever. So. But when we say afternoon, for example, in this case, we can use dans l'après-midi. Dans l'après-midi. Only for the afternoon. But for the other ones, we just need to stick to le matin. Le matin et le soir. Okay? Or we can use another formula, which is dans la matinée ou dans la soirée. But then it's another case, and we will talk about it in another opportunity. Okay, on en parlera une autre fois. Et voilà, ce sont les 7 erreurs pour vous améliorer en français. We can pass to the last slide, and please just pass to the next slide, next and last one. Voilà, donc en corrigeant ces 7 erreurs en français, vous allez vous améliorer. Donc, if you just fix these 7 little mistakes, like big little mistakes in French, you will sure be better. Yeah, we will sure be better, and in French and just continue practicing. And if you have any doubts, si vous avez une question, vous pouvez poser une question. Vous pouvez poser une question, ok? Est-ce que quelqu'un veut poser une question? Merci. Yeah, we will take questions in the end. So I'm just stimulating you to think a little bit about that, or you can watch the video afterwards. But so for now, it's just thank you, and we'll go ahead with the next person. Yeah, with Mr. Mehra, that will take over. Thank you very much. Hi, Mr. Mehra again.
So guys, you had the session, and now it's time for me to actually finish it off before we take questions. So I just came outside in the garden just to show you the weather. If you can see the sky here in France, you can see the beautiful tree here, and you can see the sky on the top, and so I just came outside just to, freshen you up. Okay, so now when you are actually when you are learning French, it is very important for you to, as Deborah said, to make mistakes, because if you don't make mistakes, then it's you will not learn. And if you make mistakes, don't worry. For example, there are mistakes that some people do. For example, there was a guy who wanted to ask his friend that because his friend's mother was not well, so he wanted to say, your mother is fine, and he said ta mère est bonne. Now ta mère est bonne is incorrect. They will laugh at it. It means that your mother is hot. He doesn't want to say that. It means that you want to say that elle va bien, votre mère va bien, or elle sent bien. So there are different things. So these are very important things, and you should, in your class, you should ask your teacher about these. So it's very, very important to actually know few things. Google Translator does not work everywhere, and Google Translator doesn't give you the correct cultural aspect of it. The other one, there was this student who wanted to say something about the movie Beauty and Beast. So he said La Belle et Bête. Now this is wrong, because he did not use the article la. He didn't say La Belle et la Bête. So even a small article turns it upside down. For example, in this case, he said beauty is stupid, because if you don't say, you don't put la, it makes it stupid. But Beth is also stupid. Beth is also animal or beast. So you have to add la bête. So that is what language does. So it's these are the two things that I'll finish with. This just a last one, which I want to just inform you. You are young students who are actually doing you're learning French, you're learning other courses also. In January 2021, we are going to launch many jobs in French, which are available in south of India, especially the Hyderabad and Bangalore area. We have created a testing platform for this, where we test your level. If your level is up to the mark, then most of you who are actually finishing your graduation or post-graduation can apply for those jobs. We require minimum B1 level, which is the basic level that our clients, which which include HSBC, L'Oreal, and Michelin tires. There are many French companies which actually require these things, especially in the Hyderabad and Chennai and Bangalore belt. So learn it well, learn it, take it to a level. There are many benefits of learning French, but learn it the correct way. And I thank you. And now we can all take questions if you have any. I think Maggie, you can go ahead and start the question answers thing if we have time.
So thank you. So it was all great. All articulations was very well done by all our experts, and we have a bunch of questions here. So Bharat, can we have the questions, please? So I do see a question over here: how to pronounce R in a very easy manner. So we see Sai Akshara saying très utile, merci beaucoup. So thank you.
Supriya will answer this, I think.
Yeah. So the question from Ritika Chidambaram: what is the easy and best way to pronounce R in French? So Supriya ma'am, can we hear? Can you give us some tips to pronounce R easily?
Yeah. To pronounce the R, it's like comme on fait des gargarismes, as if you are gargling. So c'est comme on fait alors vous essayez. You have to try it yourself to be able to do it. Alors, si vous prenez la main, you keep your hand here, then you can feel the vibration. So, c'est R. C'est comme ça. C'est R. C'est rond, roux, rat, rouge. So, it's at the back. It's at the back of the throat. Alors, c'est comme les gargarismes. It's like gargling, or on fait racler. You clear the throat like le R.
So that was really great. Thank you. So we have another question from Mr. Parthiban KK. Could you tell us the difference between they, some, and quelque some? He's asking what is the difference between they and quelque, where to use it probably.
Between quelqu'un and
They.
they.
D-E-S, they.
Okay. Okay. So quelqu'un is someone, right? In English, and they is some. So for example, je voudrais des pommes. If you want to have two and more apples, you will say that I want some apple. But quelqu'un is for a person. Am I right, Supriya?
Yes, you're right. Quelqu'un, c'est someone, somebody.
Somebody, some person.
Somebody,
Yeah.
someone, quelqu'un.
They can be animate and inanimate thing also. For example, je vais parler avec des amis. So I don't want to say that I want to speak to one person, one friend or two friend or three friend. I say that I want to speak to some friends. Some friends will come home. Des amis va arriver chez moi. So you want to have an indeterminate quantity, but so you say they. But then quelqu'un is someone, or some person. For example, quelqu'un va arriver chez moi à 6 heures du matin, à 6 heures du soir. That means someone or somebody. So let's have the next question if we
So
have.
we are having a question from Nidhi Sunny. Pouvez-vous expliquer dans quel contexte on dit je suis bien et pourquoi? She's having another question also. Pourquoi on ne dit pas à l'après-midi?
Okay.
Why we are not saying à l'après-midi? So, do we have answers?
Uh, did you hear it, Supriya? I didn't understand the question properly.
The question is
Yeah.
popped up. Can you check it, please?
Okay.
Pourquoi on ne dit pas à l'après-midi? Why we don't say it as à l'après-midi?
C'est comme ça, c'est une règle.
it's it's
Sorry, there is no explanation to that. It's a rule. You see, French language is full of rules, and there are exceptions, and at times there are no explanations.
yeah.
When I was learning, I used to wonder as well. Why don't we say dans l'après-midi ou à l'après-midi? Mais c'est comme ça. It's like that. It's a language. You see, sometimes there are no explanations. There are no logic. So il faut juste mémoriser. You just have to remember it. You have to keep it. Il faut retenir dans la tête que c'est comme ça. It is like that. So
Eh,
sorry,
eh,
there
yeah.
is no explanation.
Sometimes it's crazy. Like I was speaking to the director of the University of Grenoble yesterday, and he gave me an example. For example, the British, for example, the curry is a Indian word, and it has been taken into Oxford dictionary as it is. Like for example, if you go to England, then they say that I want to have some chicken curry. They will say curry, but the French have also taken it in their language. But it's very funny that they say soup curry. They will add soup. They have, they like, what was the use? Curry means it is some kind of a soup, or some kind of a, a curry. So they have, what they have done, they have added soup in it, and they say that you should say soup curry. Now it's a language.
Yeah,
We will not
yeah.
argue with it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you just have to remember that it is that way.
yeah,
L'après-midi ou le matin, le soir,
yeah,
la nuit. Yeah. In English you say in the morning, but in French you say le matin, l'après-midi. You don't put the preposition in, like
yeah.
dans le matin ou non. C'est l'après-midi. Je viens l'après-midi. I'm coming in the afternoon, or yeah. Je viens l'après-midi. Je viens la nuit, le soir. Comme
That is
ça.
why for a long time, French was considered the language of classes, not masses, and English was supposed to be a language of masses. But then until 1969, the French was the official language of diplomacy. So which means if you go to, if you speak to your dada dadi who has been to UN or this thing, then they have to learn the language French. That's why Indira Gandhi and this Shashi Tharoor and all those people who are in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they speak French because they were, at that time it was required for them to speak French.
Yeah.
So, do we have?
So there are many questions who keep asking how to pronounce R. So everybody are pretty worried of their R's now.
So probably we will give you, send you some YouTube links, and you can share it with your students later,
Yeah, sure.
where which has been created, and there are very good resources which we will send you.
Sure, thank you
Okay.
so much.
Yeah.
So, since we are, coming to the end of the program and we have, it's nearly 1 hour, 10 minutes. So, there are a lot of questions which we'll be taking in the feedback link. So, the link is posted in the chat. Kindly fill the links to provide your certificates. So, hereby, I would like to conclude with the vote of thanks. So, can we have all the experts on the screen, please?
Okay.
Experts on the screen, please. So, thank you so much for this wonderful 1 hour. We learned a lot how to articulate the common mistakes which we were doing in French. So, Kumaraguru College of Liberal Arts and Science, thanking you so much for the session. So I extend my warm thanks to our principal, Vijla Kennedy Madam, who was a great support throughout the show, and the technical team, Bharat, Mr. Leo, the head of the Visual Communication Department, and Richa from French department. Thank you all so much. See you in our next sessions.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci.
Merci.
Ciao.
À la prochaine.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Ciao.